Bayern Munich simply cannot sign a left winger, Sunderland are going all out to ensure Premier League survival, and a plot twist in the Gyokeres saga due to a bizarre clause? This is DMAC Daily. The Bavarian Giants have had a mixed summer thus far. They strengthened early on with the free transfer signings of Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah and Hoffenheim's Tom Bischoff. They're also actively gunning for Bundesliga star forward Nick Woltemade and RB Leipzig's promising centre-back Castello Lukeba. However, there's no guarantee they'll get either of these deals over the line, especially considering their recent track record hasn't been great. Florian Wirtz was the biggest fumble, but they were also unable to renew Leroy Sané's contract, hence why they have been desperate to recruit an elite winger, specifically an elite left winger. Gnabry and Coman are in their late 20s and hardly improving. They got a superstar on the right flank last summer in Olise. Now is the time to bring in their left wing equivalent. The problem? They cannot land any of their targets. They've been credibly linked with Williams, Rodrigo, Mitoma, Martinelli, Leao, Gakpo, Rashford, Barcola, Eze, Gittins, and in the last 24 hours had an approach for Liverpool's Luis Diaz flat out rejected. This has been a recurring theme. The clubs who possess all of these targets are acutely aware of Bayern's desperation and are demanding unrealistic fees as a result, leading to their shortlist only growing. Of all the names mentioned, I think Williams would have been the dream. I mean, he's affordable. Even with his high wages, Bayern seemed like a perfect environment for him to flourish, but he's most likely got his heart set on Barcelona. However, Rodrigo, now that would be crazy. He's clearly unsettled at Madrid. In terms of wingers available, I'd say he's the best. The finances involved would be astronomical, but could you imagine a front four with Kane up top, Olise on the right, Musiala in the 10, and Rodrigo on the left? As good as it gets on paper. Moving to the Premier League, and Sunderland are low-key cooking in this summer's transfer window. As we all know, newly promoted Premier League teams need to invest heavily in order to have any chance of survival nowadays. In the last two campaigns, all three newly promoted clubs have gone straight back down. Now, Sunderland notably lost Joe Bellingham to Dortmund for an initial £27 million, but they have since splashed the cash, first securing the permanent transfer of Enzo Lefebvre for £19 million following his successful loan spell. Next up was one of Ligue 1's best performing midfielders in Strasbourg's Habib Diarra for a club record £30 million. They've since agreed a deal for a third central midfielder in Union Saint-Gilloise title-winning wonderkid Noah Siddiqui for £15 million, and in the last 24 hours, news has broke that they're finalizing a deal for Chelsea goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic for £21 million. This guy was one of Europe's best performing keepers last season. He would be an incredible signing. Personally, I wish he was replacing Sanchez back at Chelsea, but fair play to Sunderland. For a newly promoted team, these are the ambitious type of signings you need to stay up. Staying on the theme of transfer news, and Viktor Gyokeres' situation has reportedly taken a strange twist. Now, we already know about his ongoing feud, that Sporting's president has refused to sanction a potential sale for 60 mil plus bonuses. They want around 80 mil, to which Gyokeres is incensed, believing Sporting have betrayed him, the previous gentleman's agreement, and that he'll refuse to return to pre-season in order to force a move. But it apparently gets crazier. According to Portuguese outlet Ebola, side note, what a brilliant name for a publication. But back to the story. There is supposedly an absurd clause in this contract from July the 1st that if a bid over 60 million euros is received and Sporting reject it, then the club must pay Gyokeres' agent 10% of that bid. That is just insane if true. I'm truly baffled as to why this clause would ever be agreed upon in the first place. It really only serves to benefit Gyokeres' agent, not the player, not Sporting. One could maybe argue it was implemented to hold Sporting to their end of the gentleman's agreement, but I'm still somewhat skeptical as to the validity of these claims. There aren't direct quotes from either party involved. Ebola did break the original Gyokeres transfer dilemma story, so I wouldn't dismiss it entirely, but till then, I'm sitting on the fence. Either way, hashtag free Gyokeres. Anyways, that's today's DMAC Daily. See you tomorrow.